chillin', I'm gonna tell you what I hold dear. I'm gonna tell you about the gracious life of a pioneer.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm here with Bashir Salaam. This brother has such a history. I'm here at his daughter's house. He's here and we want to get an interview of this brother. This brother got so much history, you know, so many hats he had worn. I don't know, I guess he'll share that with me. I know at one time he was the minister in the Nation of Islam in Richmond, I think, and I think he was imam sometime. And so anyway, we just want to interview this brother. And first of all, I want to say assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Yes.
Wabarakatuhu.
I just felt that it's very important for us to have this brother share some of his history, because he go way back. He experienced a lot of things that that we just want to have on record. So first of all, I've been knowing you for a long time. My name is Brother Khalid Wajid. Used to be Larry 3X Crosby in the Nation, and I've known you for a long time, but I don't know all about you. So first of all, I want to start off with maybe if you can go back from first introduce yourself, and then we want to know what's your name now, what name did you use before, what was your name before you became a Muslim or in the Nation of Islam, okay? And also, we'd like to know a little bit about your past, maybe, I don't know how far you want to go back, but you share with what you want to share about your past, what led you into the Nation of Islam and into Al-Islam, okay?
Yes.
So sure. You go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bashir Salaam, formerly Brother Harry X, before I was named Bashir Salaam by our leader, Imam W.D. Muhammad. Matter of fact, my whole family was named by him. My son and my daughters was named by Imam W.D. Muhammad. And I came to California in 1951 from Louisiana. We were born in Cameron, Louisiana, that sits right on the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, you walk from 23rd out to San Pablo, you would be walking in the water. That's where we live. We live right on the Gulf. My grandfather had a farm where he raised peanuts and corn and watermelons and cantaloupes and things like that. So in 1951, we came to California. But before then, I like to say that Almighty God was with this family because there was a hurricane called Hurricane Audrey that happened in 1957. And my grandmother and her brother and my uncles were the only house left standing in Cameron, Louisiana. And the courthouse, that house was built by my grandmother's brother, was named Ezeb. And God saved our family, man. The water came all the way up to the ceiling in the house. And they were able to climb up in the attic. And my uncle, he had been in a car wreck, and he had a cast on. They told us the story. He had a cast on, and they said they don't know how they got him through that up into the attic. 20,000 people were drowned in that storm in 1957.
Go ahead, that's all right.
You're okay, Bashir. Bless you.
Yeah. So
I get a little choked up when I think about
Go ahead. This is
I think about my
this-
grandmother. They were good people. They were good people, and that water came halfway into Lake Charles. Lake Charles was like 60 miles inland, and 20,000 people was drowned in that hurricane.
And your family survived?
They survived.
So how many brothers and sisters did you have?
It was myself and my sister. We lived in Lake Charles. We moved into Lake Charles. This was before the storm. Before the storm, we moved into Lake Charles, and then we moved out to California. So it was only my sister and myself coming to California. And I think I must have been about 12 years old, something like that. And when we moved to California, we moved to North Richmond on Du Bois. That's right on the corner, I think about four doors down, where the Masjid Taqwa is going to be built. That's a project that we're working on right now, is to build the masjid in North Richmond.
Wow.
With Imam Wali Muhammad.
Yeah.
So you said you came here with you and your sister, just you and your sister. What happened to your brothers and sisters, and who did you stay with when you came here?
Well, I didn't have any other brothers and sisters. My mother and my stepfather had already came out to California, and I was still down in Louisiana with my grandparents.
Okay.
And so they sent for us, my sister and myself, and we came out to California, and we came to North Richmond, and that was in 1951. And North Richmond was very tight-knit community. The whole community raised you behind. Mr. Charlie Reed, Reed's Park was where we all played ball, played basketball, played baseball, played football at Reed's Park, Mr. Charlie Reed. And as I said before, we didn't have a lot of money. Matter of fact, we didn't even know we was poor. We didn't know we was poor. And I remember at Christmas time, they used to give away a little foot with candy in it, and apples and
Oh, the
oranges.
stocking, the Christmas stocking?
Yeah, the Christmas stocking.
Yeah.
It would every year, Mr. Reed would make sure that the kids enjoyed that, you know. And man, we didn't know we was poor. We had strong community life. Strong community life. And so when I came to California, when they let me out of that car, after being on the highway, I came in the house and my mother had saved myself and my sister a roll of dimes. And she gave me that roll of dimes, man, and I was out the door.
So you drove all the way from where was that? You was at?
From Lake Charles.
And you guys drove all the way out here?
Yeah, we it was a family that lived out here, and that my mother and them lived rented from right next door. The Dawsons. Yeah, the Dawsons. So when I got to California, man, they let me out that car, and my mother gave me she gave me that roll of dimes.
Yeah.
And man, I went out and I started meeting people immediately, making friends.
But you was only 12 years old, right?
Yeah, I was only about 12 or 13, about 12 years old.
And this was in Richmond.
Yeah, in Richmond.
Wow, so you got a long history here in Richmond.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so I started meeting people, man. I started meeting the brothers that I met, you know. and started making friends, Brother Khaled. I was always, I was an outgoing little guy, you know what I mean? I mean, I was outgoing. It wasn't until later on that I became introverted. As I grew, you know, older, I began to see the phoniness in people. And I kind of...
The what?
The phoniness.
Phoniness, okay.
Yeah, I kind of withdrew, you know, and started kind of like not being as sociable as I was when I was growing up. Because I was like, man, my mother used to do day work in San Rafael, cleaning houses, and my stepfather, he did construction work.
So you came up under your mother and your stepfather, right? They both. So you had parents that you
Yes.
grew up with.
Yes.
Okay, good. So go ahead.
Yeah. So my stepfather, you know, he worked running the jackhammer, doing construction work. But in the rainy season, he didn't have no work. But my mother, she was always cleaning houses and ironing and doing all of the things over in Marin with, you know, rich white people. They really liked her, you know, and how she worked. And so we didn't, and I was trying to help too, you know. There was a man by the name of Mr. Harris. He had a barbecue place, and he would take us out to the bean patch early in the morning. We all got on the back of that truck, and he would drive us out, and we would pick beans, you know, to help our parents, you know, survive and buy school clothes or whatever had need to be done. We was there to help. Not like today, many of our young people today, you know, they don't want to help. But we was trying to do everything we could to help our parents. Yeah, back then, man, it was just awesome. So
Now you wait before you go any further. Now you had two working parents, which was a good example. I mean, for you, you know, it's not very many children grow up with both parents working. So you had good example to follow. Now, and you also said that you was helping them out. And what about your sister? Did she also help out too, as far as with the trying to help with the family?
well, she kept the house, you know.
Okay.
When my mother would go to work. Matter of fact, both of us would learn how to iron and, you know, learn how to do those things to help our mother, because she would go to work and early in the morning come home in the evening, and she would cook, and she just kept house. She was very organized lady, you know.
Yeah.
She only weighed like 105 pounds. The Creole looking, light complected. And she was just a soldier, man. And we had, like I say, I came up in a very disciplined household. We couldn't just come to the table to eat. We had to wait till my stepfather got there and got his bath and everything. And when we ate, we all sit at the table and ate. We didn't eat around the house like it is today. You know, everybody go get their food and go in the room or whatever. No, we were disciplined, you know, and I had to be in the house at a certain time, you know. Like me and my friend Justin Thomas and George Divas came by a couple of days ago to see me, and we was just reminiscing, laughing, and Justin said, "Yeah, say old Hobo." They used to call me Hobo Joe. Say, man, say we would be playing ball, and that sun would start going down, and he'd be batting, getting ready to bat, and he would drop that bat and head for the house. Cause my mother, she said, "Joe, you know, you got to be in this house before the sun go down."
Joe.
Yeah, they used to call me Joe.
Oh, okay. Hobo Joe. Well, how'd you get that name?
Well, you know, back then we used to do a lot of what they call signifying. You know, we used to play the dozens. So everybody had a nickname.
Oh, okay.
And mine was Hobo Joe. It was 9 of us. They call us, my friends, they call us the Thunderbirds.
Okay.
And there's only like 3 of us left. George Stevens, Jesse Thomas, and Eli Williams.
So these are childhood friends.
These are childhood friends that we go way back, man.
Okay.
We did everything together. Later on, we started kind of growing apart as we graduated out of high school. But like I said, Charlie Reed, Reed's Park was the place where we all played at, and Mr. Reed taught us discipline, how to be. He taught us, man. He was that mentor in the neighborhood, you know.
So it's a park named after a person named Reed's?
Yes.
Okay, and the person that had the park was still around?
Yeah, he was still around.
Okay. Is this Afro-American or what?
Yeah, Afro-American.
Okay. So we want to move on, like, you know, as we know, okay, you came here. Now we want to get to the point where you did come into the Nation of Islam. So let's try to move on as far as what schools you went to or which you've been through and how you ended up in the Nation. But take your time, but, you know, we want to get there, okay?
Yes,
okay,
sure. Well, I got out there and got into the fast lane, you know. And my mother used to tell me, she said, Joe, she said, if you don't slow down, 3 things going to happen to you. She said, you're going to either be dead, or you're going to be in prison, or you're going to be burnt out. And I was out there in that fast lane, man, and got involved in wrongdoing. And
how old were you?
I must have been probably 21, 22 years old. You know, we started doing different stuff. And so my mother and them, they didn't give up on me, you know. I had went to jail. And it was ironic that the first Muslim in Richmond, his name was Spud, Brother Ellis.
I met him.
Yeah, he was the first Muslim in Richmond. And we was going back and forth to Superior Court. And they would let us out in the morning at 8 o'clock. And at 5:30 and 6 o'clock that we would have lockup. And he used to always say, hey boy, man, let me go in first. And so this went on for a while. So one day I asked him, I said, man, why you always want to go in first? He said, I want to go in and say my prayers. And I looked at him, I said, say your prayers? He said, yeah, I want to go in and say my prayers. And he would be standing in the corner when I come in. The way we used to pray, Brother Khaled, how we used to pray, standing up, and he would be saying his prayers. And I said, wow. And
this was where? Where was he saying the prayers at again?
This was in Martinez.
Martinez, okay.
Yeah, we was going back and forth to court.
Oh, okay.
So.
But this was in the prison?
Yeah, this was it. This was in Martinez, the Superior Court.
Oh, Superior Court, okay.
Yeah.
So he was saying a prayer when he was in the courthouse?
No, when he was when we were locked up.
Oh, okay.
And and I know he was a gangster, stone gangster. Brother Ellis, there was him and a couple of other brothers was you know, extortion and doing different stuff. And so that was my first contact with, you know, Islam, and I didn't know, you know, that later on that I would be a Muslim. I didn't know that. So I went did a year up there in Martinez, and then I did a year out in Clayton. And when I got out, I got back on that fast track again. And Brother Khaled, I came up against a wall where I couldn't go no further.
Yeah.
And my mother had told me, she said, you're going to either be dead or you're going to be in prison or you're going to be burnt out. And I tell you, brother, I was burnt, man. And that's why, you know, the Nation of Islam, discipline didn't bother me any because I grew up in a disciplined household. And, you know, when you came with the Nation of Islam, you know, you have to come up under that discipline. You know, many brothers that came, they couldn't take that discipline, you know.
So you said now the brother that, what was his name? The brother's in prison that you said was the first Muslim?
Brother Ellis.
Ellis. Now,
Spud.
you think that he had a lot of influence as far as you deciding to come into the nation? What actually, you know, I know you said that that inspired you when you seen him go pray in the bathroom. You found out. What do you think that kind of motivated you to want to be to get interested in coming into the Nation of Islam?
Well, at the time I didn't know, but I had so many questions as a young boy coming up. You know, I wanted to know. I was kind of thinking outside of the box way back then. I was like, man, why all this is happening to us as black people? You know, who am I? You know, what was my father's name? And so I had a lot of questions. And my mother used to say, Joe, she said, you know, you ask too many questions.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, you know. So when I started waking up, I started studying music. I used to love jazz, you know.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, I used to buy albums every week up at Leopold's in Berkeley. And I started studying the tenor saxophone. Me and a brother by the name of Bonnie Abbott. His name is Brother Hassan now. He didn't come into the Nation of Islam until later on. He you know, he's like closer to Islam than he ever had ever been, you know.
So you played an instrument.
Yes.
And what was that instrument?
Tenor saxophone.
Saxophone. Tenor saxophone?
Yeah, I had a music teacher. His name was Harris Stein. And Bonnie had a music teacher. Clark Terry was his music teacher. And so I was just steadily awakening. And I loved the John Coltrane, and that there was a song out at that time called A Love Supreme. A Love Supreme. A Love Supreme. And and man, I was starting to wake up, Brother Khaled.
So you wasn't a Muslim then. You were still when you were still playing your music. Did you do any? Did you have any bands you played with or anything like that?
No, but I used to. I used to go to it was called the Albatross in Berkeley, right off of a university.
Okay.
I used to go there and kind of sit in sometime, you know. But when I heard that the message of Islam, I dropped everything, you know, to come and do the work that we started to do here in Richmond.
Well, tell me this. What was the first day? Can you remember the first time that you went to the masjid, and where did you go? When you first heard the first teachings, your first day.
Yes.
And how did you come about doing that?
Yeah, well, what had happened was, like I say, I started thinking outside of the box. I had so many questions that it was starting to bother me mentally. You know, and then I was hustling to me and this old retired, he worked at Southern Pacific. We used to run a game at his house Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And, you know, I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like, because I knew a lot of the brothers used to come and play gamma there, and man, when they would lose their money, and I knew they had families, you know.
So you was hustling.
yeah, I would go home, Brother Khaled, I would go home, man, and I would get on my knees. I said, oh Jesus, help me.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like what I saw. So I started coming to the game talking about it, and about God, and he told me, he said, man, you can't come we already doing wrong, and you can't come talking about God.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I was really going through it mentally, because I wanted to know. I had all these questions in my mind. And so my barber, his name was Lee Allen, and he had went back to church, and he was over the choir and everything. And he said, "Man, why don't you come on, go to church with me, you know?" He said, I'm over the choir, and but I would be sitting on my porch, Brother Collett, and I would be thinking, man, thinking, and so I would be sitting there, and then one day I was like sitting there, and I started pinching myself. Man, I'm actually living. I'm alive. I'm alive. Well, I was working in health then, man, and I was really going through it mentally. And Brother Benny was one of the first Muslims in Richmond too. His name was Benny 3X.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to work at a drugstore. And he would try to get me to go to the meetings, and I would promise him, but I would never go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, matter of fact, when I leave the pool hall, I had to pass by the drugstore. I would duck down. I would duck down and run and go into the house. And so I was starting to wake up, man. I was just starting, man, life is real. I'm really actually living, you know. And so this one morning, I got up, I went around to the liquor store to get me some Scotch whiskey, because I used to drink it. That was my drink, you know, Scotch and milk. And I went around to the store, and this little brother was in there by the name of Luther Redding. He said, "What's happening, hobo?" I said, "Luther, I'm trying to figure this thing out, man." He said, "Figure what out?" I said, "All these different people got here, man." He said, "Man, I got a book." He said, "I got a book. Come on, go around to the house. I'm going to go get it. And it'll tell you how all these people got here and everything." And Brother Khaled, he went up there and he got Message of the Black Man.
He was a Muslim?
No, he wasn't a Muslim.
Oh, okay.
But he had the book.
Mm-hmm.
And he went up there and he got Message to the Black Man.
Mm-hmm.
And he turned to the making of the devil, Yaqub's history.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I went home and closed the blinds and started reading. And you remember the story, how all these people was grafted out of the black man.
Yeah.
And man, the light turned on in my head.
Wow.
And when Samaya got home from work, she came through that door. I said, "Baby, I got it. I found it. I got it."
Mm.
She said, "You got what?" I said, "I got it. I'll be right." I said, "I'll be right back."
Mm-hmm.
And I could hear her calling my mother. She called my mother and told her he done lost his mind. He done gone crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I went down to I went down to the drugstore. I said, "Brother Benny, you going to that meeting on Sunday?" He said, "Yeah, I'm going to the meeting. You gonna go? Every time I come, I hear you up in there." I hear you up in the house, but I could hear you telling the kids to be quiet. He at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I said, "Brother Benny, I'm ready to go, man." He said, "Well, I'm going to come by Sunday."
Mm-hmm. And
he came by the house, Brother Khaled. I had 3 cigarettes I put in my pocket. He said, "Now you can't take them cigarettes."
Oh.
And he said, "They're going to check them, but they'll give them back to you." And man, I went in there, and Minister Majid was...
So you went to San Francisco first? Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
That was... And okay, now, when you went to that first day, where was the masjid at?
It was actually on Post Street.
Okay.
That's where I came in at.
Okay.
It was about 25 brothers and about 25 sisters. That was attending. The minister Majid just came up from San Diego, and we were on Post Street.
So he was the minister, the first minister you see.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was the first minister I heard, man.
Okay. Go ahead. Mhm.
And so he spoke, and then when he finished, he said, "Who all believe what you heard to be true, and want to stand up for this message, with this message?" And Brother Khaled, I jumped up out my seat, man. I jumped up out my seat. Minister Majid was a great, great
Oh
leader.
yeah, yes he was.
Matter of fact, his name was the Glorious One.
Oh.
Majid, the Glorious One, man. That man was phenomenal. He was phenomenal, man. And then we started growing, you know. But Brother Saluk Rahim, he was there. He was a young brother too. And then we started going, and Brother Ronald, Brother Ronald.
I remember Ronald, yeah.
Yeah, with Tiny Snack Shop. And then Vallejo was very instrumental also. Brother Samuel and Brother Stafford and Johnny. Man, we was very aggressive.
So what year was that you first came in? You remember the year?
That was I think it had to be the first part of 1966.
Okay.
Because Brother Malcolm had just was killed, you know, and I think he was killed in 65, I think it was. But on every Sunday, there used to be a big crowd of people in North Richmond on the corner of Chesley and Filbert Street, where Minnie Lou's, all the club was there. It would be so many people out there on Sunday. That's where everybody went. And I remember Brother Ellis and them used to come out there on Sunday and stand up on soapboxes with their bullhorn.
Oh yeah. So this was in Richmond?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they would come on the corner and teach on Sundays?
They would come on the corner, man.
Well, this was like after they left the masjid, or the temple during that time, or because they was members of the San Francisco, right?
No, they were members out of Richmond, and then some of the brothers from there would be different ones with Brother Ellis, but I remember Brother Ellis.
And they was teaching on the corner. This is how they would give, instead of having a meeting in a building, they had it on the corners.
Yeah, they had it on the corner, man.
Wow, okay.
They would be talking the language of the Nation of Islam, man.
Wow, okay.
And so, you know, I would listen, and then I would, you know, get in my car and drive to San Francisco. Because like I said, I was kind of a loner type person at that time, you know. And I would drive over to San Francisco with my pool stick, and I would be over there in the Fillmore. But man, that was the way it went down, man. And we started working, you know. We started propagating. And I was just sincere, man. I was very sincere about the message, because I believe the message of the Nation of Islam. I was converted when I read that Yaqub's history, because I knew some albinos, you know. And it made so much sense, man, you know, that all these people came out of the black man, you know.
So tell me this now, after you, you know, I know you. I don't want to tire you out too much, but now when you came into the nation, I know you became the minister here in Richmond. How did that happen, and when did that happen?
Yeah, well, like myself and Brother Kalam.
Kalam, yeah, used to be Horace, right?
Yeah, Brother Horace. It was a brother by the name of George Truex. You know, we had worked and kind of built it up a little bit and they would never give Brother George no position, you know.
You talking about in San Francisco?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you know, because we was in Richmond, but we all went to San Francisco, and they would never give him no. They wouldn't let him be no squad leader, nothing, you know. So he took those. I think he must have took about 12 or 13 people, and they left. And Brother Samuel did the same thing in Vallejo. Brother Samuel took Brother Johnny and Richmond. They all left, you know.
Okay.
And,
That's to start their own temple. Okay.
Yeah. So.
And so how did you end up being a minister?
Well, what happened was Minister Majid opened up the minister's class, and brother Hamid, Brother Gerald, talked me into going into that class. Cause we was riding across the bridge. He said, "Man, come on, let's get in the minister's class." I said, "Man, I'm not ready to be. I'm not ready to be no minister." He said, "Come on, put your letter in with me, man." And so he talked me into it. And Minister Majid asked the question, "Why did you want to be a minister?" And my answer was to help save our people. To help save our people. That's why I want to be a minister. And he did. He because Brother Jewel and Brother Robert, they were student ministers too. And I remember him taking us to Chicago.
Who took you to Chicago?
Minister Majid.
Okay.
And he took me and Brother Jewel and Brother Robert to the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Wow.
And Brother Captain Sharif and them, man, they was mad at him. "What you doing with these brothers up in here, you know?" And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came in the living room and was seated in his chair.
Wow.
And he's, you know, I got up to introduce myself, and he looked at me, he said, "Brother, I believe that you're going to get all of the people over there in that city." Man.
So Elijah Muhammad told you this?
Yeah, he told me that.
Wow.
He told me that, brother, and I was like, man, I met my leader, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Because we wasn't supposed to be. Minister Majid, they was mad, they was angry at him, man, for bringing us up there, you know?
Yeah, and you got in the house, you came in the house of Elijah Muhammad. Go ahead.
Man, he was sitting in the chair in the living room, man, and I stood up and introduced myself. And he said, "Brother, I believe that you're going to get all of the people over there in that city." And man, when we left there, we came back to San Francisco, and we started working. We started working. That's how I became the minister. We started working, and me and Kulam and Brother Lawrence and Brother Morris all of us was young, and they were even younger. Matter of fact, Brother Morris came out the other day. I think he was like 15 years old, 14 or 15. Brother Clarence, you remember Brother Clarence Hassan that had the gas stations?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, because he was one of the first pioneers too.
So where did you guys have your meetings? I mean, when you first started, did you meet in a building or a place? Where did you start having your temple meetings?
We started having our meetings on McDonald.
McDonald.
Yeah, there was a place. There was like an auditorium, and they allowed us to use it. And so we would meet on a Thursday, Tuesday. I think Thursdays we would meet, and Brother Kulam, man, that brother was so dynamite. Kulam would go out, wouldn't be nobody in there, man. Kulam would go out, and he would fish 10 or 15 or 20 people in.
And you gotta explain that fish, because people might be listening to what you mean by fishing.
Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we have to become a fisherman of men.
Mm-hmm.
And when we say fishing, that means that we would go out like a man going out fishing, and we would bring people in.
Bring
man.
people in. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
So Kalal was good at bringing a lot of people during that time. Huh? And now that building that you had, how were you able to get that? Were you renting it or using it?
We was just using it, and then later on we got this this location on McDonald, a little spot that we got, and we was working from there. And man, we started growing, you know. Sister Zakia came in, different people started coming, man. And Brother Nuruddin, he really wanted to be the leader, you know. So he started kind of giving me problems, you know. And then later on, we sent him up to Sacramento, and he worked him and Brother Kwalam. Kwalam was his captain, and not Brother Thaddeus, but I forgot who was the captain.
Albert, not Albert.
No, Brother James had.
James. Okay.
Yeah,
Brother James. Yeah.
Yeah, John Muhammad sent Brother James over here. What happened?
And he was your captain.
Yeah, what happened was Minister Billy and him had came down from Santa Barbara and came into Oakland, and they started teaching over there, and then it became a problem where, you know, we started getting into it with Brother Yusuf Bey and them, and some kind of way the Minister Majid got relieved, and that's when John Muhammad came, you know.
Okay.
And we had grew. We had a lot of people start to come to Islam in Richmond, and Brother Andrew, Brother Hassan, he told Honorable Elijah Muhammad that wouldn't nothing happen in Richmond and Palo Alto. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sent a letter back, told him it was okay for him to be the minister there. But he didn't tell Honorable Elijah Muhammad that we had already grown, we had already had so many people coming. And man, I was so angry at him, brother.
At who?
At Brother Andrew.
Andrew, okay.
Brother, cause he was just going to snatch it. He called a special meeting with the believers and told them that, and showed them the letter that he was the minister now.
Okay. Now, before you go any further, now I know you had restaurants. I remember, because I used to go to your restaurants. I don't know how many you had. Now, can you share that? Like, when did you get those started? Were you a minister during that time? And how many restaurants you had? And who were you in business with? So, because I remember your food. Right? I remember the one on Internet. But just share that, you know, when you had the restaurants. Or were you a minister during that time?
Yeah, well, I was always call myself an entrepreneur, you know.
Yeah.
Even as a young brother, when we came to California, there was a store called Save More Market, a couple of doors down from where I lived, and
that's where you living out here.
Yeah, in Richmond, and I would go. I was a little boy, man. I would go and pick up those party pack soda bottles, and I had me a wagon.
Oh yeah!
Yeah,
wow!
Yeah, I had me a wagon, and I would go pick up the party pack sodas, cause you would get a nickel when you return them. And man, I would have me a wagon full of bottles.
Take a back, get your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what happened was, I just had that entrepreneurial spirit, and then the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching, do something for yourself.
For self, yeah.
Lift your own self up by your own bootstraps. Up you mighty nation, you can accomplish what you will. And so I believed in that message, man. And so myself and Brother Lazim, I think it was 8 or 9 other brothers got together, and we got this bakery shop called Universal Bakery.
Now, when was this? You know what year that was?
Yeah, this was I can't remember the year, but
Were you a minister during that time, or
no, I wasn't a minister
you
during
hadn't
that time.
became a minister yet?
No, and
Okay.
and Brother Lazim.
I remember Lazy with that punch. Yeah,
Yeah. And so we got this bakery shop, man, and Brother Lynn was a master baker.
Where was this bakery shop at?
We were on 6th and McDonald.
6th and McDonald?
Yeah, we were
Okay.
on 6th and McDonald. And Brother Lynn, that brother was a master baker, man. I'm telling you, he baked everything, bread, and so we was all would help, you know.
So
Danish.
you said it was like 6 of you. You guys collaborated with each other to actually start this business?
Yes,
Wow,
because
that's great, man.
Brother Lynn's his concept was one bakery shop supplied 99 coffee shops.
What?
One bakery shop supplied 99 coffee shops. And so when we got this bakery, Brother Lynn, he had already been working at Nelam's and Blum's Bakery in San Francisco. And Brother Khaled, I tell you, man, he decorated that place. We had a chandelier hanging down. We had a velour wallpaper all around. We had the cases with the Danish and all of the stuff in there. And Brother Lynn was a master baker, man. That brother, so I was working at
Ghirardelli.
Langendorf
Oh, Langador.
in Berkeley. I was working at Langendorf Bakery. I had to go to work at 4 o'clock to 11 at night.
So you was working at Langador Bakery when you guys had the bakery during that time?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happened, Brother Khaled, I wanted to get off that job, man. So I went and bought this panel truck. And I had Universal Bakery put on the side of it.
Wow.
Hey, Brother Khaled, I had these iron racks put in there where you can slide them in and slide them out.
Yeah.
And man, I was rolling, you know, but I had to be to work at that time. So I would go by the high school and I would sell right up there, you know.
Sell the products from your bakery
From the bakery.
before you went to work.
Before I went to work.
Wow.
And then on weekends, I would go through the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And so the brothers really got jealous, man. Man, why you didn't tell us you was going to do this? I said, well, I'm just trying to get out this job, you know, because I didn't realize Muhammad teaching us to do something for self.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And man, they got jealous and they started tearing it down, man.
Oh, wow. Uh-huh.
Started tearing it down. But I said all that to say that I was thinking entrepreneurship way back then, man. Always had that spirit of doing something for self.
So now, that bakery, that was the first start. Now, what was the next? I know you had the restaurants, so I don't know how many restaurants. So you want to go on from that? Where did you see now? What happened after that?
Well,
How did you get into the next business venture?
What happened was we had the snack shop right there on, like you know where it was, right there on 10th and Cuddy. And
Who is we now? You said we had
the community.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had went and bought this tractor trailer, and we had, it was a freezer. And we hooked it up to the building to keep everything cold for our shops. And you know, at that time, that's when we started importing the fish.
Yeah, whiting.
Yeah, and we had a couple of fish trucks that we had got, and we was bringing 20,000 pounds of fish into Richmond, man.
Wow.
The,
So you guys had something over here. I know they had a building in San Francisco, but you guys had something over here too.
yes, we had our operation over here.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, we had
Okay.
we had like I said, my office was right there upstairs, and Sister Zakia, she was my secretary,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had a businessman managers who managed the businesses, the shops that we had. 'Cause we had that shop, we had one Central Richmond, we had one out in San Pablo, one of those White Castles.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful, man. And then we had the bakery shop inside of the one in San Pablo.
Mm-hmm.
And Brother James, he was baking the cookies and the pies and
I
stuff.
remember that. Yeah.
And then he taught Brother Emmett. He taught Brother Emmett how to bake. And Brother Emmett was running the bakery. But we had that shop on a cutting, and then we had the deli downtown.
So how many different shops that you have with the bakery?
We had
The first one was where?
You mean when
You first started with the you had the bakery when you were working at the what is that?
Langador.
Langador, yes.
yeah.
Okay. Now where was that location at?
The bakery was on 6th and McDonald.
Okay. So from 6 McDonald, now where's the other bakery? You said you had another location?
Well, what happened was when we started, we got the tractor trailer, we was bringing the fish in.
Mm-hmm.
We started opening up different shops, and one of them was on Central Richmond on 6th and on 7th and Pennsylvania.
So these was like outlets?
Yeah, these were
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
these were outlets.
So how many little outlets did you have?
We had that. We had the one on McDonald, the one on 6th and Pennsylvania. We had the one on McDonald, and then we had the one out in on Runway Road, in San Pablo. That's where the baking and stuff. Brother Emmett, James taught Emmett how to bake, and man, we was rolling, man.
What about the
So
restaurant?
you really was an entrepreneur. So now, okay, I want to know too. Okay, you went from that. Now I know. Now how long did that last? And then you went into. I know you had the restaurant. So I want to get. So go ahead, continue, share with how you got to that stage.
Well, once we, like I said, we had managers of the shops, and then we had a general business manager that overseen everything. Brother Anthony was our general business manager,
Okay.
and he overseen everything. And what happened was we had money coming in, man, from everywhere. Then we had the paper crew. Brother Stafford and Brother Vernon and Brother Chester and them, they would go out of town. They would go up to South Dakota, North Dakota, all up in those areas, and solicit funds to build a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they were sending back $5,000 checks, $1,000 checks.
Wow.
And we had all this money coming in, and we started, taking money to Chicago.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the last money that we took there was like $30,000.
Wow. Man.
Cause we had all this money coming in, and when I would go to Chicago to the ministers' meeting, they would say. We want all of the ministers to go to Salaam restaurant, and we're going to call out the names of those of you that will be going have dinner with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And at that time, we had gotten our number, temple number 72.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had worked and we had gotten our number.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would go over to Salaam restaurant, and they would call my name. You're going to have dinner with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad this evening.
So you had dinner with Elijah Muhammad more than one. I mean, you had meetings with Elijah Muhammad more than one time.
Yes, yes.
So wow, that's something. So now the other times that you went, that was later on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now after the restaurant, I mean the bakery. Okay. Now how did you move to the restaurant business?
The first restaurant.
You had a first. I know you had a restaurant.
Yeah, the first one was a
After.
snack shop on 10th and Cutting. That was the first one. That's where my office was and everything, you know. And Zakia would come in the morning and she would have coffee and stuff ready. And she would have the reports ready too.
Okay. This is 10th and what?
Number 72.
72.
And we were very organized. And Sister Zakia, she was very instrumental in the organization because she would have my reports, weekly reports done. She would have our monthly reports done. She would have our semi-annually reports done. She would have our annual reports done. She was really on top of it, man, that sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really, really on top of it. And like I say, you know, we was bringing all that fish out of Los Angeles, and the truck from LA would come down, and man, the brothers would be unloading that fish, loading into our tractor trailer. Cars would be, Brother Khaled, cars would be stopping and just watching us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The brothers would be, had that cases of fish on their shoulder, man.
Mm-hmm.
Trucking from across the street into our trailer.
And so once you transferred to your trailer, then that's when you took it to the restaurant?
Yeah, then we
and
took.
then you guys took and cooked the fish and sold it and stuff?
Yeah, and we had the fish crews too. Imam Wali and them, they ran the fish crews. Brother Samuel and Imam Wali and them.
So what was the name of that restaurant that you had?
It was called Master Bilal.
Master Bilal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Master Bilal Fast Foods.
wow. Okay. And this was in Richmond.
This was in Richmond, where my office was downstairs.
Okay.
And we had a big old sign put up there with a black man with a chef's jacket, and man, it was just awesome, you know.
So were you the only manager of that restaurant, or did you have anybody else managing that?
Well, at that time, but Tammy worked at the running the restaurant too at that time.
Who?
Tammy, my daughter,
Oh, okay.
she was working in there. Her and Brother Gerald, and then you know, when the imam came in, the imam said, "What I want you all to do, brother ministers, is go back and you take a vote on whether you want to turn the restaurants over to the managers, or do you want to keep it and make it one conglomerate."
Mm-hmm.
And so I followed the imam's instruction. I came back and I told him, because we had some loans that we had made at Bank of America. Mm-hmm. And so I told the believers, I say, look, we're gonna take a vote, and see if we're gonna turn the businesses over to the managers, or whether we want to just incorporate it and have one. And we did.
So what did you do?
And we took the vote, and they said they wanted to the businesses for themselves.
Okay.
And we turned it over to them, you know. And the only stipulation was that they have to help pay because 3 believers had put their houses up for us to get the loan from Bank of America. Man, we was doing so much business with the bank that when I would walk into the bank, Brother Khaled, whatever Mr. Acanero was doing, he would drop it, and he would come and he would escort me. He would escort me back to his personal desk,
Wow.
Wow.
and he would and the white clients, big white clients, they would want to know who the heck is these guys? And he would tell me this, be patient. I'm gonna take care of them, and then I'll be back to talk with you. And so he said, look, he said, Donald Elijah Muhammad had passed away too.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm sorry about the call out of Elijah Muhammad, the Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you got a great, great leader. And he said, Minister Harry, you're a great man yourself. He said, look, I'm getting ready to retire next month. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write the loan off for you.
Mm.
The Imam had already told me, he said, look, he said, how much you owe? And I told Imam, the Imam said, when I get back to Chicago, I might have Secretary Hart to call you and send you the money to pay the loan off.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, man, but I didn't tell him that I had more than one loan. And so
So you said the Imam did this? Imam Muhammad?
Imam W.D. Muhammad
Wow.
did that.
See, that's something. Man. So now,
Okay.
I know, you had so many different businesses. So that was, the restaurant, that didn't, you eventually left that, right? That ended and you went to something else, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, like I say,
Ooh, my side hurts.
when we turned the business over
To the managers.
to the managers,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing was they had to pay $85 each,
Mm-hmm.
so that we could make sure that the believers that had put their homes up
Mm-hmm.
didn't lose their homes. And they started out paying it, and then later on they started slipping.
Mm-hmm.
And the brother that we had turned the shop over to downstairs with my office, he would open up, he wasn't consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And the people started coming to me, Brother Minister, we came and the shop wasn't even open today, And so I said, what? She said, yeah, see, we came for lunch, because they would come for lunch, man. They were serious about the food for Master Valera.
Mm-hmm.
And so we told Brother Billy, we said, look, man, if you don't keep this up, we want to take this back over. And we did. We took it back over.
Mm-hmm.
And, the people was happy again, man, because, they loved to eat the food there,
Mm-hmm.
They
So
loved
you said in the middle, Minister Billy, he had a part in the restaurant over here too?
No, Minister Billy and them, when they came, oh no, this brother was named Billy.
Oh, his name was Billy.
Yeah, his
oh, I
name-
thought you were talking about Billy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was running the restaurant at one time.
Okay.
When we turned it over to him, and it was making money too,
Mm-hmm.
That spot was making money. It made more money than all the other locations.
Right. Now, and so now I just want to know, now what was the other restaurants that you had, the other businesses you had?
Yeah,
Can you remember?
Yeah, we had, like I said, we had the one on 7th in Pennsylvania.
That was a Bilal?
Yeah.
Okay, and what was the other one?
The one downtown, that was the deli. That's the one we turned over to Brother James.
And what was, did they have a name? Did that have a name?
I forgot what the Brother James had named him.
Okay, go ahead. Uh-huh.
And then the one in out on Rumbriel Road was number 3.
Number
I think
3.
it was.
Okay.
And that's where the bakery and everything was located.
And you had a business in South Oakland too, right? Didn't you have a restaurant or something in Oakland?
Yeah, well later on I came into Oakland. We turned all of the business over to everybody. And Sister Johara, she was the captain, and we turned Master Belair over to her, and she kept Master Belair for, what, about 18, 19, 20 years.
Oh, okay.
But they moved from there up on 30, I think it was what? Let's see. Up on Cutting, I mean, yeah, further up on Cutting, she stayed there for 18 years. Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay. Man. So, man, I just wanted to, you have such a rich history, and there's so much that you can tell, that you shared. The little bit that you shared, there's so much other things. I know we can't cover it all, but I just want to also, I didn't get, now you was married before. Now, how many children did you have? I just wanted to get that on record too.
Well, I had one daughter when I was leaving out of junior high school, in the high school. Sherry, that's my oldest daughter.
Okay.
Her mother was named Benny Ruth.
Okay.
She was my one of my childhood sweethearts.
You wasn't a Muslim then?
No, I wasn't a Muslim then.
Okay, that's your oldest daughter.
Yeah, that's my oldest daughter,
Okay.
Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
And her mother and father, they were well-to-do. He was a contractor, and they were well-to-do. And we lived in North Richmond. And so, they would leave me there on Sundays, man. They would go to Santa Rosa, be gone all day. I would never do nothing at the house. Mm-hmm. And I did something in that one time. They got caught,
So,
and then I didn't see her for like about 9 years. I didn't see my oldest daughter. And I was standing in front of the liquor store on 7th in Pennsylvania,
mm-hmm.
and her stepfather, he worked for Richmond Scavenger, and he went into the store, and so before he went in, I said, "Is it your name, Fred?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Well, I'm Sherry's father, and I would love to see my daughter, He said, "No problem, man." So he hooked it up with what I got back connected with my oldest daughter.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So now your other children, so.
And Samir, she had Muhammad.
These your other children?
Yeah, all of them was by her.
Uh-huh.
Tammy, Muhammad, Tammy, Munir, Layla, and Naima.
So you saying the first daughter that you had by the woman, then the other children came by the other same woman?
By Samir.
Okay, that was the first wife.
Yeah, five children by her.
Okay.
And then one Sherry, and then the last one is by Corey and myself, and that's Nicholas.
Okay.
Yeah, Nicholas is the youngest. So
Okay.
all told, I have 7 children.
7 children, okay. And 2 wives, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great, man. You got, and then the other interesting thing, now you were a minister in the Nation of Islam, right? And
yes.
then when we made the transition, when the Imam Wardi Muhammad came, you actually became an Imam, right?
Yes.
So you had the title minister and Imam.
Yes.
So you lived through that.
Yes.
Okay.
I was at the home with Honorable Elijah Muhammad when the Imam came back to the community that night. I knew a lot of the ministers because the ministers on the West Coast would come in on the 1st of the month, and the ministers on the East Coast would come in on the 15th of the month.
Wow.
And, Minister Farrakhan, he was able to come anytime because he was the national spokesman.
So he was there when you was there too? When Farrakhan was there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that particular night, the Imam had came back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting right next to him, and I hadn't seen him before, I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
But Imam A.K. Hassan had already told me. He said, "Man, you ever heard of Wallace?" I said, "No, who is Wallace?" He said, "That's the next to the youngest son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad."
Mm.
He said, "Man, they can't even sit on the same stage with Wallace, man."
Oh, wow.
He said, "That's the one they said is going to take away the followers of Elijah Muhammad. They try to say that he was the big hypocrite, you know.
So they try to label Imam Warji Muhammad and that.
So that night I was there at the home,
Mm-hmm.
and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we got a guest with us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He said, my son Wallace is back with us.
Uh-huh.
He said, son, would you stand up? And he stood up. He was sitting right next to me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he got up and went around the table and hugged and kissed his father, you know.
So could you see that in him, that he would one day become the leader of the Nation of Islam during that time before his father passed? Did you see that in him? Did you see that character in him?
Yes, the first time I heard him.
Oh yeah?
The first time I heard him, after we gave our reports to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said, I want you all to go to Temple number 2 and hear my son Wallace speak. And so we gave our reports, and man, we went over there, and first time I heard him, he was talking about Adam and Eve, the serpent in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
And he said Adam represents willpower.
Mm-hmm.
He says Eve represents the flesh. He said the garden is the human mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the serpent comes into the garden, the snake, that whisper. And man, I said, man, that first time I ever really understood that.
Oh, wow.
You know, because we was taught, you know, that the snake was talking in the garden and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
So you got the meaning of it.
Man, he said, and if you don't exercise willpower, you come under the curse.
Mm.
He said every human being have that makeup.
Mm.
And then he began to connect it all up, man.
Mm.
And I said, wow. And so the next month we came back, and they a couple of months into it, they came in with a tape. The only apostle, we want you to hear what Wallace is teaching. They thought they was going to get him put back out.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was very sick that evening. And
You was there when they brought the tape?
I was there, Brother
Wow.
Khaled.
Uh-huh.
I was there, man. And Sister Claire Muhammad was standing there.
Wow. You.
And they put the tape in. And man, the man was blasting.
The what?
And he was teaching, man.
Uh-huh.
And they thought they was going to get him put out,
Mm-hmm.
back out.
Mm-hmm.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad jumped up. He said, Clara, our son Wallace got it.
Wow. And you was there to hear that?
I was there to hear that for my
Wow.
own ears, man.
Wow.
I'm telling you, you know, that's why they couldn't sway me, they couldn't pull me,
Yeah.
you know, because they was trying to get me to go, you know, to New York
Mm-hmm.
and Big Red out of Atlanta. We got a spot for you down there in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
They were trying.
Wow.
And I told them, Brother Khaled,
Yeah.
said, no, man, I'm with the Supreme Minister. At that time, he called himself the Supreme Minister.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with the Supreme Minister, man. 'Cause I would
Okay.
be riding with John Muhammad, and Minister Farrakhan would come out here, and they would be talking, man. Man, what we gonna do now?
Okay.
Said Wallace is letting the devil in it.
Brother, that is such a. I didn't know you had that many times that been to Elijah Muhammad's house and been in those situations when that history was made. And, you know, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got to rest, but I want to know. Okay, so you know your experience of all this. It's not information that you have. You know, you like to share just with people that's listening what you think that has helped you to stay as strong as you are, and, you know, and what has kept you here and kept you motivated to do the things you have done. Can you just share that with people that may be listening to this? You know, what you think the greatest thing that has motivated you to continue on? Because from my understanding, you're about 80 years old now, right?
Yes, I'm 80 years old now.
Okay. So that, and when was your birthday? You don't mind sharing that? Well, you don't have to. But anyway, go ahead. So can you just share that before we leave, or, just some of the things that you think would that you would like to share with people that listening, what has kept you here and kept you motivated to continue to work?
Yeah, well, the greatest thing is that, you can't fake this. This is something that you can't fake. I know, we've been taught about in the Quran that religion is sincerity. You got to be sincere. You can't fake this. And I think the greatest thing for me was that, that I was a believer from the beginning. I was a believer from the beginning, and that and the work that went into this. I've always stayed positive. I've always stayed even keel. My personality have always been even. It ain't never been, when I had this, I had that, that made me be different. You've been knowing me, Brother Khaled. I've always been the same brother, man.
Yes.
And the blessing and knowing that Almighty God is with you, man. That Allah said in the Quran, He said, "Loan to me a beautiful loan. I will be with you in every twist and every turn that you make. I will be right there with you." Knowing that this very house that I'm living in, Brother Khaled, that I'm here right now, I didn't have a dime, man. It was a brother that we worked together, and we were friends over the years, Brother Mike Ficklin. He said, "Man, I'm going to get you this house." I said, "Man, I ain't ready to buy no house." I was working at Chevron out here in Point Richmond, in the lab out there. He said, "But you paying equity now, aren't you?" I said, "What is it?" I said, "Man, what is equity?" He said, "When you pay so long, you build up money in it." And he explained it to me. He said, "I want to get you this house." I said, "Well, go ahead, And so what he did, I didn't have no money at all, Brother Khaled. This very house right here, man, was a gift from Almighty God.
Alhamdulillah.
It was a gift from Almighty God, man. I mean, he showed up one day. He said, brother Harry, he said, "I want you to move in." I said, "Move in?" He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring you the keys by. I want you and your wife and him to move in." And we moved in this house, Brother Khaled. I didn't have a dime. I didn't have no money, no credit, no nothing.
Wow.
And he told me, he said, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get this house for you." And then one day he showed up with the deed, man. He showed up with the deed, Brother Khaled.
Wow.
And I know, man, that Allah was with me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a gift.
Yes.
They tried to get me to move out and move up in the hill. Because Donovan Elijah Muhammad wanted his ministers to fly first class, to live in the best hotel, the best home.
Yeah.
But I said, "No, I'm not moving out of my house." But this was a gift, man.
So when was this? How long ago was
This was let me see, it had to be when I was still in the nation.
Wow. So you had it that long, so.
Yeah. And when me and Samir, because we kind of grew apart, man. And I said, "Look, this is your house. I don't want nothing. I don't want anything out of this. I want you all to have this. This is yours for the years that you spent with me." Because we went through a whole lot of changes. Being gone on the road and so I said, "This is you guys, man."
Talk about your daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that is such a blessing. It shows Allah has truly been merciful. Just the story that you told us about how what happened before you came here. What was it? Was it a flood or something you said?
Yeah, yeah. 20,000 people was drowning.
All those people that passed, and you survived that. So
Yeah.
God was with you way back then. You know, he had a purpose for you,
He
brother.
had a purpose for me, Brother College.
Yeah. So, brother, you know, I'm not gonna keep you any longer, man. I think this is really good what you shared, and I mean, I appreciate, you know, your time, brother, and I love you, you know, and I want to thank Allah for giving me this opportunity to be able to interview you. And I think that you know, you have a rich history that people need to know, you know, and we need to share that. So I don't know if it's anything else, and you got a beautiful wife here. She's, you know, Allah has blessed you with that too.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
now how long you guys been married? This wife you have now?
33 years. It
Yeah,
was on
yeah,
Sunday.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, July 12th.
Yeah.
So you know, I know you appreciate that, appreciate her, and your children. So, brother, I just want to thank you for so much for giving me this opportunity to interview. I know we didn't cover everything, but I think we got enough here that we can share. Unless you have something else that you want to add that maybe I forgot.
Well, I just want to say that I'm very appreciative of Cora, because she's the one that went to work, you know, because we had a young son, and she said, Bashir, she said,
I want you to get in the picture.
I'm gonna go and
Take
get
your mask off.
I'm gonna go and get some
Yeah.
health care. And she talked me into getting on her plan, you know, because I was gonna stay on with the services that I had already had. But she saw fit to put me on the plan, you know,
I'm
and
gonna get your wife in here for a
yes.
second. Let me see if we can fit her in here for a second. Just bend down a little bit. I can get you down. You still. Hold on for a second. You guys maybe come just on the side a little bit. Bend
Right
down.
here.
Yeah, bend down a little bit further down. Okay. You don't want to take your mask off. Okay. That's okay. We just try to get. Okay, go ahead. What you were saying now?
I was just saying that you don't know how life gonna turn out, but man, she made sure that we had health care, and she you know, she'd been working how many years with the school system, Cora?
26.
26 years with the school system.
Oh, okay.
You know, marriage is never easy. You know, it's a thing where you have to tolerate each other. And, you know, sometimes we would get into it and, you know,
Yeah.
but we always tried to understand each other and what each other were going through.
Yeah.
And I just thank Almighty God for her, along with all my children, my siblings,
Yes.
because I always try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
They
I
are
always
wonderful.
try to do the right thing.
We
you know.
couldn't do it without them. They are. Now Tammy is the angel. She's the matriarch of all of the siblings, and she's a perfect example of what a child should be when the parent is in need. You know, they didn't hesitate. Tammy, Naima, Layla, our son-in-law Chris, our daughter Nicole, Oliver, the grandchildren, even the great-grandkids, they all was here day one when Bashir arrived. This is his wishes, to be comfortable and be in a place where that can be. And so we're here, and we just appreciate all of them, all of the Muslim community, all of our other friends, entire family. We are so grateful. And we're looking at all of the blessings in this. God has shown favor, grace, and mercy on Bashir because of who he is and who he created him to be. So we're so thankful.
And one thing too, I got to say, it's a blessing for you to be able to be in your house, you know, with your daughter and your wife, because a lot of people right now, especially with this pandemic, people in hospitals, they can't visit, nobody can see them and stuff like that. So you blessed to be here right now.
Yes.
Yes.
And I just know that Allah is surely rained down His blessings on you.
Yes, He has.
So, brother, you're a strong brother. You see, hey, never lie. I have never seen you, without that spirit. You have, it's all long as I've been knowing you. I've been knowing you for a long time, and I know you was always long-winded. I just brother.
Yeah.
So and also, I got to bring this up too. I remember you also started. You worked with the group called Fame.
Yes.
And you want to share just a little bit of that. There's so many other things, but just
Okay,
Well,
I'm
shut
going
up.
to step
And
to the
that's it.
side. Thank you.
all right, and that's please,
Yeah, well,
this will be the
That's okay.
Fame, it means FAIM, Friends and Associates of Imam Muhammad.
Mhm.
We got to keep that legacy alive, man. And Fame, the Imam said, I'm doing a powerful pollination right now. I'm pollinating. He said, I'm going to live within you all. I'm going to live within you all. And this is what Fame is about. It's about, teaching, giving people the tools of how to manage this life. Because Satan is real. He's real. He comes into the garden. He comes into the garden. He comes into the mind.
Excuse me.
And he whispers into the mind. That old serpent. The last two surahs of the Quran gives us prayers to pray.
So now, I just want you to now share with me now what is Fame. Now, I know you explained what it means, but now just tell the people out because I want to know how did it get started. Where did it start from? And share what it's all about. It was a TV program, right?
Yes.
Cable. Okay, go ahead. Just share that.
Yeah, well, what happened was...
Well, how did it get started?
It got started with me and Abu Bakr.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Abu Bakr, we wanted to introduce people to the Imam, in his text, his lectures, So we had the Imam W.D. Muhammad on for like a year.
On what?
On TV.
Okay, it wasn't called Fame then, right?
No, it wasn't called Fame then.
Okay.
It was just we was playing the tapes, and every month we would come up with $500 every month to pay for the airing.
Okay.
And we paid for the airing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Abu Bakr, he moved out to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just myself and Brother Gerald. And I told Brother Gerald, I said, man, we got too much information and too much knowledge that will help people.
Mm-hmm.
That will help people. And I said, we gotta go to work, man. And so Brother Gerald and myself, we got Fame going.
Yeah.
And then we had the sister Namad and sister Mahassan. They were part of the group, and we started, sharing with people how to defeat Satan, how you defeat the devil.
Mm-hmm.
He's feeble, he's weak, and all he does is set up a scheme to get you caught up in. And sometimes people get caught up in that scheme and don't never get out of it. Mm-hmm. They go to their grave, because of the not knowing how to defeat Shaitan or the devil or Satan. Because Allah said he is our avowed enemy, and his whole thing is to prove to Allah that we are not worthy. This human being that you've given all this to, he's not worthy. We have the history of Job. We have all that to share. When Satan told God, move that hedge from around Job, I'm going to show you I'm having to curse you.
So, go ahead. So, so, brother, you know, I see you getting ready to give us another lecture. So, look here. All I gotta say, brother, you have been working from the very beginning. You still been working, even in the late times. You still been. It's one thing from another thing to the. You continue to work, and so this is the lesson that I think that we want to share with those who watch. What kind of person you were or are, excuse me, and the person that you have been. As far as how you have continued to put service in to help the community and help others. So, brother, I just want to leave. Thank you, brother, for sharing this wisdom. I'll never forget the time that when my incident happened, how you and Benjamin, what was Benjamin's name? Nurdine and Muhammad, all you guys, and Joe Tex. I sent the picture to you when I was on the stage and you guys helped raise money for my defense. But God, how many thousand it was. But that was, I never forget that when you was a young man up on the stage. So, brother, I just want to thank Allah. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you, brother. Some things I learned about you that I never knew all these years. I didn't know this history. So I'm gonna let you go and get some rest, brother. Because I know you got things you got to take care of, and I want to appreciate your wife for allowing me to do this interview. Okay.
Well, I'm all fired up, Brother Colin. I'm even more fired up now because I know you, been knowing you, and I know that I don't know, man. You've just been special within our community, man. I mean, what motivated you to pick up the camera? What motivated you? Because you never stopped either, Brother Colin. No, Brother Colin never stopped, man.
Still moving, huh?
Well, I think we all have what we got to do. You did your part. This is my part.
Right.
We all got different things that we got to contribute. And like you said, we got to have faith and believe in God or believe in Allah, and just do what we got to do.
And
and we all got different things.
Different gifts, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes, that's a gift. You got a gift. I got a gift. We all got gifts. We can't. I can't be you. I'm not gonna be you, and you can't be me.
Right.
So, brother, look here. I'm gonna let you go. So I just wanna. I'm gonna end with a prayer. And maybe you want to end the prayer, or you want me to end with
No, you can end with
okay.
Brother Colin.
I'll just end with Al-Fatiha, and may Allah continue to bless you. All right?
Yes.
So, just bow our heads.
Okay.
And this is an oft-said prayer by the Muslims. We say this prayer, this often said prayer. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. English. I seek refuge in God against the accursed devil. With the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Lord of all the worlds,
Yes.
the beneficent, the most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we serve, and thy aid we seek. Guide us on the straight path, on the path of those whom thou hast bestowed favors. not upon those whom wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. Amen. All right, brother.
Come gather around, you chillin'. I'm gonna tell you what I hold dear. I'm gonna tell you about the gracious life of a pioneer. You see, God's always had his hands around them, so when they leave, there's no need to mourn. He sent them here to save a place for the children being born. When you see the pioneers walking and they're strolling along their way, you must lower the